Hey everybody. Uh, Watachi Pop MD. This channel's or this video is gonna end up going on two of my channels. Watachi Running Free 2 and my Pop MD metal detecting. Those of you on Watachi Running Free 2, if you don't want to see this, shut it down now. But this is important to me in many ways. But I want to show you guys some of the stuff I found. I'm at a new location now. I've been at the Southern Park stables. Now, it was a part of the Southern Park harness racing track that existed between 1912 and 1924. They shut it down basically at the blink of an eye, and they were making tons of money. Who was making tons of money? That's my question. This racetrack, folks, there was over 15,000 people that would come to this racetrack every time it opened for races. Other times people showed up for baseball games, and I believe they were professional baseball games. They weren't high school or junior high or anything like that. They had a professional baseball diamond at this park, I believe, in 1911, 1912. And I believe they did professional games here. Why nobody talks about this park just blows my mind, folks. There is absolutely no information on this park, this harness racing park. There's I think I've seen 3 photos, old photos that you really can't see much. You can see the bleachers and the track and everything, but it was packed full of people when the picture was taken. It wasn't real clear, of course, in the early 1900s. Hell, before I was born, even after I was born, there was only black and white photos. There was no color photos. So the only 3 photos that I've been able to find on this track are black and white, and they're blurry. Now you can see for the most part that it's a racetrack. There's a lot of people there. There was horse carriages and cars there at the turn of the 20th century. There was a lot of people that went in and out of that park. Now, the stables was outside of the park. The stables was built and owned by a lawyer. And where would a lawyer in the early 1800s or early 1900s have enough money to be able to store or hold at the stables 16 racing horses in the early 1900s? He was just a lawyer. Who was he a lawyer for? That's my question. I think he was a lawyer that worked with the mafia, the mob, because they run this area. They still run this area today. I had people a couple of years ago that I used to run around in Uber and running for Uber and Lyft. Well, a few of these people were like that. And they told me the money never left here. Mafia never left here. It's still here. And when it was time for them to come back out, they would come back out. And they also told me in Youngstown, Ohio, there's nothing left there to build for other than Youngstown college where they teach all these, what is it? Shit, I can't remember the word for it. The old man shit. But most of these people are trained to be, damn, I can't remember the word for it. People look up Youngstown College, it'll tell you what their fucking, most of their degrees are. I can't remember at this point. But these guys used to tell me that the money's coming back out. This was a couple of years ago. And they're going to start reinvesting into downtown Youngstown. And they're going to build on the only thing that's left there to build on. There is no more steel industry. There is no other industries in this Youngstown, Ohio area but the college. Now, in the last couple of years, they've redone downtown Youngstown. And it's all built for the college. Youngstown College. University, whatever you want to call it. The Penguins, that's the name for their football team, I believe. The Penguins. Can't get no tougher than that. But I've moved across the street from the stables, the lawyer's stables that he built in 1911. I've moved across the street and I'm actually inside the property that was owned by the people that owned the track. Now, across the street, they have a huge house. Huge. And it, at one time, before the guy that owns it now, it had a stables, an old barn from the early 1900s or late 1800s, one of the two, along with this big-ass freaking house. Now, when it was part of the racetrack, this house was where the jockeys stayed when they came in to race at the track. When they had races going on, they'd bring the jockeys in, and this house is where they stayed. Now, it also had another 6. It could also house another 6 professional racehorses. Professional. They were big money racers, too. So where my trail that on the stables, I found a trail that's at least about 30 to 40 foot wide. I don't know how far it goes off into the woods because there's a wooded area right next to it that is so thick. And it's young trees. It's not big old trees. Probably about the time this track was built, it was clear-cutted. So these trees that are in this wooded area that runs along the trail, the Watachi Trail is what I named it. Because nobody seems to know nothing about it, so I'm going to name it. And it is a road, old trail that went, it's over 5 acres long on this one property. That's the entire length, depth, whatever you want to call it, of this stables, this Southern Park Stables that's famous. It's on the historical records and shit here in Boardman, Ohio. You can go on Google and find it and see where I'm working, or that one of the places. Now, all the stuff I've showed you guys in the last couple months is all came off of just the stables. Now I'm switching over now. I'm gonna move away from the stables because they haven't cut the grass in so long that I can't even swing my damn metal detector in there anymore. Now, on top of it, everything is knee high or waist high, and you just deal with ticks and everything else when you start walking through that shit anyway. Even if you had a small enough head on your metal detector to swing it in high grass and shit, you'll be covered in ticks and poison ivy and everything else by the time you get through all that thick shit. So until the parks department or whoever comes in there and cuts that fucking historical site, until they get that cut, I'm moving away from there. I've done brought ticks on into my house, into my garage and shit. I ain't doing that no more. So I moved across the street to the guy that owns that big ass house that the jockeys used to stay in when they come in there. And I started talking to him. He's actually an Air Force. He retired in the Air Force, and he was a colonel when he retired. So he's making some fucking money off of the military. And his property lines right up with that trail that I claim is on the other 5 acres. Or actually, it's 8.6 acres, but the trail runs across 5 acres of the fucking lot. So I went across the street. I've talked to them a couple of times before I ever asked them to dig on their property at all. And I took the gun and stuff that I found over at the stables and the rest, all the horseshoes. I've showed him all this stuff, and I said, I'm serious about this. I'd really like to run across your property and see what I can find. And he gave me the great big okie dokie to do it. And he's got about 2.5, 3 acres himself. So I started there a couple of days ago. And on my first day, just a few hours of running through there. Now, I got a bunch of stuff on the table already, folks. I've had to clear off the stuff from the stables because I want to keep this shit separated so I know where it came from. So I'm going to box that shit up, mark it stables, and then this one, this property, I'm going to mark as the jockey's residence. But I want to show you a couple of things that I found on the first day, and then I want to show you what I found today. I'm going to start with this right here. It's called a Buddy L. Corbin padlock. That's what this was, a padlock. Now, I found these 2 pieces in 2 different holes. And once I cleaned them up, and I started realizing one of them had 3 holes in the back, and the other one had 3 studs. And I was looking at them, I was like, these 2 pieces go together. And if you look on there, it says Buddy L. Corbin is in the circle at the bottom is the name of it. If you guys look this up, this was a toolbox that you could buy in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And it was called the Buddy L. toolbox. Now, they had different toolboxes that you could buy. And some of them was like for a carpenter, some of them were like for a plumber, some of them were toys for kids. They might even be in the shape of a car or a truck or something, but you opened them up and it had toy tools inside it. That's how famous this place was. Now, they had these high dollar, and they claimed these were high dollar tools. The Buddy L tools and the toolbox and the lock were all supposed to be high dollar shit back in the early 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. And that's where that lock come from. Now, whether when the person that broke that lock off, whether it was on the toolbox that it came with, or whether that lock was on something else that they had to bust it off of, they clearly busted that lock into pieces. I found both pieces and put them back together. They are back together today. Now, another piece I found, and I believe it to be some kind of a button. As you can see, it's hollow. As I turn it around, It's probably made of copper. Maybe could be silver. There's a little pinhole right through it. You can see it right there. On this one. But it looks like it could have been a cap on some kind of a button or something. I didn't know when I found this one yesterday what the hell it is. I've never found one. But it is like a button. Today, I found another one. Just like it. Just like it. Except this one's got a little pinhole through it. This one doesn't. If they are a button, they probably came off of the same jacket. If any of you know what the hell this is, put in a comment and let me know. I've already found 2 in 2 days. I guess I'm going to plan on finding the rest of them as I go through this place. Now, yesterday, I also found a little old pocket watch. As you can see right there, you can see the gears still in the back of it there. You can see up at the top, it's a pocket watch. It's the case of it. Now, I believe it is silver or silver plated. I can't find any markings on this thing, any maker marks or anything. It's in too bad a shape. Maybe somebody, if they see what I got, they might be able to identify it, who made it, but it is a pocket watch. Another thing I found yesterday, a silver spoon. Now, this spoon does have a maker's mark right here on the neck. I'll try to get it to where maybe you guys can pause it and see it. But it was, shit, I can't remember. I think it was Hartford. I'm probably wrong because I fucking forget shit all the time, folks. But it said, if it's Hartford, I think it's Hartford. I will fucking zoom this shit up again. But it says the Hartford Silver Company. So this was, it's either stainless, or not stainless steel, sterling silver, or it's silver coated. But it does have a maker's mark on it. Today, I went back and I found spikes, folks, that look like he could nail Jesus to the cross with. Old spikes, bolts, nails, everything from square nails to cut nails, just like I found on that trail. I haven't found no tools yet, but I'm not swinging for that. I'm not moving my metal detector for that. I'm looking for non-ferrous objects, like the watch, like the lock, anything that's not metal. That's what I was looking for today. Now I'm going to show you this. Let me see if I can get it up there and get it focused in. Now, it looks like to me it's brass. Could be some gold in it. But if you see that little ring that goes around there that's real shiny, there's also like a clear something. I think it might even be glass that's inside there. Now, if you take this, I'll try to get you to where if you pause it and take a picture of it, you can blow up right here in the center. There's a maker mark. Let's see if I can get it. I don't believe I can get you to see it. You have to really blow this thing up to see it because it's so corroded. But it says Beatrice And it has actually it looks like a bee that you'd see flying around. And then a tris, or no, tris under it, TRICE under it. And then on one side of the bee wing, it says 18. On the other side of the bee, on the other wing of the bee, it says 74. This is an 1874 Beatrice Locket that would hang around your neck, and you would put pictures on both sides of it. That's what this ring is. It's holding in whatever you would put the picture under. It's corroded in. I can't get it out right now. But you can also see where the hinge was and where the latch was on this side. I've done researched all this shit, folks. Whether it's brass or gold, I'm not for sure, but I'm going to have it tested when I take the rest of this shit down. But it is a famous 1870s locket necklace. Another thing I found today, folks, the fork. Oh, fork you. This one has no maker mark on it. I believe it was maybe silver plated. Copper with silver plating over it. It is an old fork. Now the tips are gradually busting off of it, and they're at an angle, but that ain't the way they was. This one here is real weak, and I could probably snap it off right there about my thumb. So the other pieces have broken off. Now, whether they broke off when I was digging them up or not, I don't know. But you can also see bends in it. But you can see it's decorated. And it was probably silver plated. Now, this thing, this was all rolled up, and it reminded me of some kind of salve that you'd put on a sore or other things. I want you to see this. And I want you to, if you need to read some of that shit on there. This was some kind of fabric repair. Whether it was, and it was heat proof, and you can read all the shit on there. It would fix furs and silk and all kinds of shit. I don't know how old this is. It's got a plastic lid on it. But I can't even find it online nowhere. There ain't a brand name because it's all wore off up here. So I don't know what brand name it is, but it says Fabric Mender. Let me see if you can see it right here. Fabric Mender. Colorless. Heat proof. What does that say? Stops runs. I don't know what that is. You guys can read these. I'm reading them backwards here. There is no date on it, but I think this is pretty old, even if it's just 1900s. I gotta take this jacket off. I'm sweating, folks. Fucking heater's got me sweating in there tonight. But one of the last things I want to show you, folks. And I found these two coins in the same hole. Now I'm going to set these up here where you can clearly see. But they're pretty wore out. Let me bring this down here. Line these back up. Give me just a second, folks. Line these back up. You can clearly see their pennies. You can clearly see Washington's head, or Abraham Lincoln's head on them. Let me flip them over. You can see the monument on the back. And I believe you can even see, I got to use the light because this stuff is so thin. You can even see 1 cent right there on it. So you know it's a penny. But the thing I want to show you, folks, is this. I'm putting it right next to a regular size penny. Let me see. Can I get it up here? See how thin it is? See how thin the one in this finger is compared to the other? Now, I've got the two thin pennies practically make up, let me see if I can get them in there. Practically, let me see. Instead of Oreo in them, I'll put both thin pennies together. And look, the two thin pennies look about the same thickness of the one penny. Can you see that? These two pennies are the size of a dime. There is no edge around them. No border or anything. Let me pull this penny back out. As you can see, the border, the edge, I ain't got enough light up here. You can see the border that goes around the edge of this penny. And this ain't even an old penny. But you can see that border. There is no border on this penny. It's very little. This thing, when I picked it up, I thought it was a dime. Both these came out of the same hole. Both these thin-ass pennies came out of the same hole. Now, I look up these thin pennies, and what they're showing me online is they were a experiment. That somebody took some acid of some kind and put these pennies in them. This is what they're telling me online. Somebody took some acid, put these pennies in them, and burned half the fucking shit away from it. That's what they want me to believe. Now, who would have took these two pennies and put them in acid to do some kind of experiment with, and then lost them at the same time? Or threw them in a hole and buried them? Is that what you want me to believe? I don't know why those pennies are thinner. Was it a mistake when they stamped them out? They stamped them out on a dime size fucking penny instead of a regular size penny. But what happened? I don't know. I don't know the truth about this shit. I'm just telling you what they told me. That there was some kind of experiment done and somebody put these pennies in acid to thin them down. Now, why would anybody do that? What experiment would they be doing to do that? I don't know. Don't even care. But somehow I found two of them. I didn't even know they existed until yesterday or today. I didn't even know these thin pennies. And evidently there's a bunch of them running around. So, you tell me, folks. Was it an experiment? Or did they just don't want to pay what the pennies are worth? They're not in good shape. I can't even get a date off of them. And matter of fact, the ones that I have seen that had dates on them, they were 1930s or older. So if I could get a date off of them, they would probably be 1930s or older, is what I figure. Did they quit doing the experiments in 1930? Is that what it was? I don't know, folks. But listen, this shit interests the hell out of me. Will I make any money from it? Probably not. Most people don't even care about the shit I found. Especially the people who live around here. They don't give a shit. But you know what? I'll keep collecting. One of these days, I'm going to come across something that nobody else has found on these properties that I'm working. And it's going to be worth something. But that's the thing about metal detecting, folks. It's just like fishing. You go out there and fish one time, you might get lucky and hit one of them 6-pound bass. Chances are you're not. Chances are it'll be like me. Take you 20 years to catch a 6-pound bass. But I did catch one. Largemouth bass, 6 pounds. And that's the way this metal detecting is. If you're not willing to go out here and dig the garbage, you're not going to find the good shit. So, if this is something you're looking to get into, no, you're going to dig many holes. Many holes. I do it for fun. If you're doing it for money, you're in the wrong business. Unless you know where the shit is. Guys, it's been a long one, another 31-minute video. I don't even know how this shit gets this long. It doesn't seem like to me it's been 31 minutes. But I want you to know, I'm going to keep showing this shit, even on Watachi Running Free 2. If you don't like it, wait for the next video. If you like it, you can go over to Pop MD. Matter of fact, I'll try to leave a link in this video for it again, and you can see all the stuff that I'm building or finding. I'm not going to show it on Watachi Running Free. So, you guys, God loves you. I love you too. Please find Jesus' path that he left for us, and please find a way to the Father. Please find a way that I'll see you guys in heaven. Those of you that follow me, I don't want to leave you here on earth and go up to heaven. You guys go to hell. I want to see you in heaven. Hell, I don't get to talk to you at all face to face here. I at least hope to talk to you face to face in heaven. God loves you, and so do I. Pop, Watachi is out.